My name is Leslie Raymond. I direct the Ann Arbor Film Festival. It's the longest running experimental and avant-garde film festival in North America. It started in 1963 in Ann Arbor during a time when it was sort of ground zero for counterculture revolution going on. Students for a Democratic Society got their start there at University of Michigan in that year. There were a lot of really interesting things going on in terms of cultural offerings and people coming together. You had, on the one hand, avant-garde musicians, and on the other hand, architects, and then there was, they didn't call themselves dancers, they called themselves Authentic Movement. It got its start in Ann Arbor, and then the founder of the Ann Arbor Film Festival, George Manupelli, who was an artist. He was a collage artist and a painter, and also was a filmmaker. And so this group and others would collaborate on happenings and performances together, which was really unusual at that time. They had a group called the Once Group, which I think has some ties to like Fluxus and Happenings, which those international art movements were really pushing at the boundaries of what was art. So George taught at the University of Michigan art department at the time, and he was teaching painting and drawing, but he also was teaching his students filmmaking, his art students. And at that time in 1963, it was a heyday for experimental film going on, and there were scenes in New York and West Coast and San Francisco, and he was really excited to make something happen in Ann Arbor. And it turned out it was a great idea, right place, right time, and all the elements came together in such a way that we're still here 57 years later. So when it comes to film festivals, Ann Arbor Film Festival is a little bit of an outlier. I mean, you guys have experiments in cinema here, which is great, but I think the general populace out there, when you mention a film festival, what probably pops to mind is something more like Sundance. And so we're definitely not that. And from your experience, you have this model of a film festival that is very outside the mainstream, which is a lot like what we are with the Ann Arbor Film Festival. Brian invited me to come and present a program. And yesterday I showed a group of films from the recent 57th Ann Arbor Film Festival, which concluded a couple of weeks ago. And I put this program together maybe about 6 weeks ago and try to pull work that would be a good distillation of the films in the Ann Arbor Film Festival this past year. I would say it's important to kind of keep an open mind about how you may apply your skills in the commercial world and to hone your skills. So really try to stay up on the current technology and to be on top of your game in that way, whether it's the camera or editing. I think that being able to subsidize your art making in a way that is practical is really important, because it's so hard just for an artist in general to make a living, and for an experimental filmmaker. It's a very noble pursuit, and we need people to make films, but it's going to be challenging to find that balance on how do you support and feed that creative impulse and at the same time make a living.